Hello and welcome to today's live broadcast or rebroadcast whenever you are catching this. My name is Ann Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, The Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. And today we are going to be discussing the statement or question, is intermittent fasting extreme? And this subject came about from a coaching conversation I had with a woman last week about the fact that she was not fasting for 20 hours, which is what we teach here, because she read somewhere that that was considered extreme. So we're going to break that down today in case maybe you have those same feelings. I also want to remind everyone that our last intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course for this year will start this Friday or this Saturday, actually November 6th. If you're interested in jumping into class with us, you can check the description box, or you can go to for today's agingwoman.com. There's information there, or if you want to go to a direct place to find out more, it's for today's agingwoman.com. Find out more. It's right there in the scroll bar below me. Okay. So is intermittent fasting extreme? And what I want you guys to do is in the comment section, make sure you check in with me, one. And then I also really like to have conversations with you when we do these live coaching, or even if you catch us in the rebroadcast, I always go back in the comment section. Let me know how many hours you typically fast in a day. Or maybe if you're new to fasting, I want to make sure that we can address your comments at the end as well. Okay, so let's talk about the word extreme. So I have some notes we're going to go over here for today's conversation, but this is something I just kind of pulled off the internet, is extreme, going to great or exaggerated lengths. And what I want us to think about in today's conversation is the word extreme is not a scientific finding, right? The word extreme is an emotional connection that we have to something that creates thoughts and feelings, and then will lead to whether we're going to do something or not because we feel limited by our beliefs about the thing. And so that's what I want to talk about with intermittent fasting, especially what we do here in this community, which is 20 hours of intermittent fasting to reverse a lot of what women are suffering through with menopause, and why it is not extreme, and how we can wrap our own minds around that. So fasting for 20 hours is what the question was, and why this woman was not extending her fasting window. She was fasting for 16 hours, but she was suffering through the 16 hours. So if you're experienced with intermittent fasting, or you're a graduate of our community here, let me know that you're here with us today. And what happens when we get to that 20-hour fasted window is we actually start to feel really amazing, right? But we have to get through that sticky sort of window in a fasted state that does not feel good, because we're doing something that our body's not yet comfortable with, right? And so that's where this word often comes in, is with people who haven't gone past the uncomfortable to get to the amazing, or people who are just practicing intermittent fasting in their own way and are seeing and feeling results and don't need to go any farther. So extreme can be considered or stated in two different ways when we're talking about intermittent fasting, right? So fasting for 20 hours is an amazing opportunity for so many women, especially women here in our community, who are really not happy with where their body is, with weight gain, fat accumulation, chemical imbalances, hormone imbalances, and we're not liking the way we're aging because we haven't caught up to our body yet, right? And that's really where 20 hours of fasting is so amazing for us. Or you can be of the mindset of not eating for 20 hours. And these are two completely different ways to live your life, or to create a mindset about what it is you're about to embark on, right? So what I like to teach is fasting for 20 hours, which is a completely different chemical and hormonal situation than just not eating. You can trick your brain or your belief system into thinking that you're doing something good for yourself because you're not sitting down to a formal meal. But if you're not fasting hormonally, then just not sitting down to a meal you're not going to reap those benefits. You're going to feel bad. And you could get to this belief system here of it's extreme because I'm not feeling good in the situation, right? So these are all thoughts, oftentimes based on lack of experience. If you're believing this, if you're thriving in a fasting state or you're thriving in an intermittent fasting lifestyle, it's often because you have in fact had a positive experience. These thoughts and experiences will lead to how we feel about a situation, right? And this is the clincher for so many of us. When we don't feel confident, when we don't feel secure, when we don't feel supported, when we don't feel like the future is going to hold something better for us, then that's going to determine what we do next, right? And the actions that we take, or most importantly, the inactions that we take, and how those are going to limit our future self. And so this is where I like to really focus, especially for the women here in this community, is how do you see your future self, and how is what you are currently doing working for you to get to that woman, right? We don't want to strive to be the woman we were in the past. We're not that same woman anymore. We want to really paint the picture for what it is we want to have in our future. So like I said, all those thoughts and feelings, lack of experience, or maybe just searching for the answer you want to read or hear on the internet, right? So if you're feeling uncomfortable with intermittent fasting, you're feeling nervous about intermittent fasting, you're nervous about the fasting for 20 hours, or maybe you haven't switched your mindset yet and you're still thinking there's no possible way I can go without eating for 20 hours. Those are the things that are going to really keep you from trying, because you've already found the answer that you were looking for, and it satisfied your own internal fears and inhibitions about what it is you want to do. So here's what happens when we have outcomes with results and we take action, right? So for a lot of the women here who have been practicing what we teach in class, we know that the thing that we strive for is that energized sense of calm. So the energized sense of calm is the exact opposite of hypoglycemia, right? Or those hypoglycemic feelings. So hypoglycemic feelings are the feelings of shakiness, nauseous, that insecure feeling when you go a period of time without a new chemical reaction that's caused by something that you're putting in your body. That's basically what hypoglycemia is. We often settle for the definition of I need to eat every couple of hours because I don't feel good when I don't, and when I do eat, I feel good for the moment. But if we keep living our life that way, that's where a lot of us are ending up getting sick, right? And so we want to strive for the energized sense of calm. That's the feeling we get when we're in that 20 hours of a fasted state, and we have that abundance of energy, the mental clarity. Emotionally, we're like this all day long. We can't believe how much we got accomplished in a day and how we did it with such a clear mindset and such a clear thought process, because we're here, right? Because we took action and we created results that we knew we wanted to have for the future. This comes with experience. You cannot convince someone to do something that seems uncomfortable, especially when you're reading information that has a different viewpoint, until you've actually experienced it for yourself. This is exactly why we have a course called the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman, because I want you to experience the magic of what the energized sense of calm can bring to you. And most of us won't do it on our own, right? Because it feels foreign to us. It goes against the grain. But if you can get some experience in a supported community with like-minded women, then that creates the opportunity for us to change our thoughts, change our feelings, and then create new actions, which are going to get us the results that we're hoping for. There's nothing more satisfying or powerful than knowing as a woman that you have the power and the opportunity to change your future, right? To create a new legacy for your family, to change your family's history of how it looks to age. This comes from that energized sense of calm and that feeling that we all get in a fasted state. I hope you guys know that from the information that's available for all of us to seek out, that feeding ourselves all day is just not working for us. So many of us are getting sick with sugar-related diseases, with autoimmune-related diseases, with, cognitive decline. All of these things are lifestyle related. And if we can catch it early enough, we do have the power to reverse a lot of the things that are going on with us, but we have to lean in to doing something new. And we have to take that mindset of extremism out, because there are other ways of living a lifestyle if the current one is not working for you. And seeing and feeling results, right? There's no better proof. You won't have to look any farther for any research when you, as the individual person, start seeing and feeling the results of the action that you are taking. And then that, in fact, creates new thoughts. So oftentimes women who think that intermittent fasting is extreme end up feeling this. They see and feel the results, and before you know it, you're fasting longer than you ever could have imagined that you would, because now the proof is in the pudding that you just created for yourself. So what happens if we stay in that thought process, if we don't want to look farther than what it is that's satisfying to us in the moment? And yes, intermittent fasting seems scary for a lot of people, and you just found research that states that it is extreme, and so you're going to stay put, right? What happens then? And this is where the conversation went with the woman that I was coaching on Friday. So your belief stays the same, right? Because you've just convinced yourself that that thing that you found was proof enough for you that you're not going to go any farther because it satisfied what you were looking for. And oftentimes that's a block we have in our own mindset. It's the limiting belief that we've created because we don't want to get ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. We have no learned experience that's new, right? So we are stuck in this cycle that's never going to change for us, even if we're not getting the results that we were hoping for, even if we're not feeling better, but we're limiting what it is, the scope of our experience. We still find some sense of satisfaction in the fact that we're staying the same, despite the fact that we're not comfortable. That is the ultimate feeling of extremism in my view, right? Of if you're doing something and you're not getting what you think you should be getting from it, and you're not willing to change, then nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change for you. And then we go back to looking for more answers, right? So we haven't even experienced anything because we were satisfied with what we found in the belief that what we're seeking to try is extreme. And so then we go back to the drawing board, and we're going to keep looking for answers until we stumble across something that's going to satisfy us. And oftentimes what ends up happening, especially with women in menopause, is we just waste a bunch of time feeling miserable and feeling frustrated and not being satisfied with the results that we're hoping for. So let's think about extreme, and I'm going to throw a couple of situations at you, and I want you to think about where your mind instantly went when I said these statements. So you have a girlfriend, let's say you're going out to lunch, and you notice that she's looking really healthy and really happy, and you ask her what she is doing, and she says to you, "Oh, I've been working out twice a day." Tell me in the comments where your mind thought if someone said to you they were working out twice a day. Do you think that that is extreme, or do you think that that is something that, like, no big deal, she's working out twice a day? And then I want you to think about what follow-up question would you have for someone who said they worked out twice a day? Or you're going out to lunch with a girlfriend, and she's like, "You know what? I'm not going to order any food at lunch today. I'm just going to order a sparkling water or iced tea, and I'm just going to enjoy your company." Where does your mind go when that statement is made? Do you think, "Oh my gosh, she's starving herself," or "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's not going to eat"? Or do you think, "Wow, I wonder what's going on with her where she's not eating?" And would you ask a follow-up question? So I do a lot of coaching here too on leaning into your second thought, right? So if your first thought about intermittent fasting for 20 hours a day is extreme, what could your second thought be that could open up your mind to giving something a try to see if in fact you could reap the results that so many women before you have already reaped, right? And why is it that we let those unmanaged thoughts and feelings dictate the opportunities that we are going to open up for ourselves or limit ourselves to, and why is it that we don't ask that second question, right? Intermittent fasting in and of itself is not extreme because you do create 2 windows a day, a fasting window and a feasting window. So you're eating every single day within a 24-hour period. So the extreme part is definitely a mindset, right? And the mindset part, we have the opportunity to change. So if you are a woman who is suffering through perimenopause, menopause, or maybe you're already postmenopausal and you still feel like you're suffering and you don't know what to do, my recommendation is always change your mindset. Open up your mind to new possibilities and practice something that's different than what you're currently doing to see if, in fact, you can create a new outcome for yourself. This is why it's so important that if you're suffering through menopause in any of the seasons and you are practicing intermittent fasting and you're not getting the results that you hope for, this is why it's really important that you jump into class with us, because I break all of this down for you on a step-by-step basis so you can implement this in a very casual way that is in no way extreme, and you can start reaping a lot of the benefits that so many of us here in this community are reaping. It's a time efficient way to live your life. It's a cost efficient way to live your life. It's a way to live your life where you can really feel comfortable and confident around your food decisions, and then thrive in what it is you're creating in your fasted state to reverse a lot of what has just backed up in our system that is now catching up with us because we haven't created a new lifestyle. So like I said, our next class is starting on November 6th. I would love to have you in class with us. I do create an environment where you can think for yourself and work through some of these mindset blocks so that you can create a lifestyle that will be sustaining for you and reap the results that you're hoping for as well. Okay, so let's see who we have here. If you haven't done so yet, you guys hit that little like button or that heart wherever you are, either Facebook or YouTube. That helps these kind of videos get out in the search engine a little bit more so that we can have women find our content and join our community with us as well. We want to make sure that we're helping women as safely and effectively as possible get through these menopausal stages, and you guys are a huge part of that here. Love Joy, good morning. Deborah, good morning. Lisa, good morning. About 16 hours. Yeah, that's great. Especially if you're seeing and feeling the results, right? What I teach in class is 20 hours of fasting specifically because it's a reset, right? It helps you build the belief system that you can do something that you've never done before, or you could do it in a way that you never thought you could do. So the course environment is set up to give you power to experience something magical. And I guide you through it. I'm there to support you. The other women in the community are there to support you as well. And I answer all of your questions. Then when you graduate from class, I really want you to go out and ebb and flow your fasting schedule. So I just set my intentions for November. I'll share with you guys here in YouTube, in the community, and on Facebook. I'm going to share it in a post today. All of my November intentions, and my intentions for fasting for November through December, closing out 2021 strong, is 16 to 23 hours. Like, that's a big span of time where my fasting is going to be very flexible, right? But I'm fasting every single day, at least 16 to 23 hours. And the reason for that is because I have a lot going on in my life. But my intention that I'm setting in my brain is I am fasting every single day for the next 60 days. And I'm going to let my schedule fluctuate so that my life fits into my fasting schedule and my fasting schedule fits into my life. And I also have some pretty big fitness goals I have going on too. So just make sure your mindset is you're going to do something every single day, and then lean into the ebb and flow, especially for my graduates. I try to do 23 hours or 1 meal a day. Awesome. If that's working for you, I think that that's fantastic. A lot of really busy people really do thrive in that 1 meal a day type of lifestyle, just because food tends to be an inconvenience for them. And I think that that is fantastic, especially if you found that 1 meal a day works for you. I love a 1 meal a day type of fasting day as well. And like I said, I fast between 16 and 23 hours now, and I just ebb and flow my way through it depending on how my day is going. So Deborah, I'm super happy for you. Love Joy Naturals. I usually fast between 18 and 20 hours, 1 meal a day, a few days of the week. Yeah, for sure. And that's what I love, is that you guys have really, really gotten comfortable and confident with playing around with your fasting schedule. The one thing that I do recommend, is that if you're going to fast, fast, and then when you feast, feast well. Don't merge the two together. That's where a lot of us get caught up in not getting the results we're hoping for. Good morning. I'm 50. What's the right IF for me? That's Alethea, I think it is. That's why I really recommend that you jump into class. I'm not the one that's going to tell you what the correct intermittent fasting regimen is for you. I want to empower you to figure that out for you based on what it is you see for your future self and how it is you're progressing through fasting and figuring out what food works best for you. So that's the thing you have to figure out for you for sure. Renee, 2018 grad, love when our grads come back. Teresa, yes, I fast most of the week. Awesome. Yes, putting yourself in a fasted environment at any point in time in your day, your week, your month is always going to help you reap the benefits of that. The only thing that I caution you about is if you ebb and flow into fasting or intermittent fasting, and then you completely walk away from intermittent fasting, meaning you're not even getting the minimum. You just have to understand and create the mindset that getting back in can be uncomfortable, and that the more consistent you are with at least the minimum amount of fasting, the more comfortable you'll be flowing in and out of it for sure. Shonda, good morning. I'm signed up to start the November class. Excited to learn more. Shonda, I cannot wait to get you in class, girlfriend. It is such a fun experience, especially this time of the year when so many people are just literally throwing their health and wellness kind of out the door because the season is really set up for us to just indulge and just unconsciously go through like habits and customs that we have, right? And so here in this community, we really do work on changing some of those things that aren't working for us, and we stick to what it is we say that we want for ourselves, and know that the holiday season, like, it officially started yesterday, right? But what does that mean to you? Does that mean that you just go all out for the next 60 plus days? Or do you really sink into what you value and what it is that you really want for your future self? And do you put some boundaries and intentions in place? And do you celebrate the holiday, or do you celebrate the season? And so you're jumping in at a great time because you're going to get the foundation to celebrate the holidays that you celebrate and not create an entire season of just throwing everything out the door, right? So I'm super proud of you, and I can't wait to get to know you a little bit more in class. Mira, hello from the Netherlands. Girlfriends, good to see you. Deborah, I love the calm feeling while fasting. Yeah, that's the thing that I think is so amazing when people say intermittent fasting is extreme. I've never felt more in control. I've never felt more calm mentally, emotionally, even physically. I've never felt more like empowered to really lean into taking care of myself and getting to know my body in such a way that when I do something that doesn't work for it anymore, I immediately know that feeling and can make better decisions. So it's always a process of learning, but it is a great way to live, and it's super empowering. And I am so happy you're finding that as well, Deborah. Lisa, 2018 grad. If you haven't taken the course, do it. Could be a great gift. Best thing I ever did for myself. Lisa, we always love when you come back, and I know you're thriving. Yeah, that's the thing also that we want to think about when we take these kind of courses is, especially when you guys see, like, Lisa's a perfect example of our graduates that keep coming back. She's a 2018 graduate. It's going to be 2022. Think about it as an investment for your future. You're investing in you so that the next 3 or 4 years, or 10 or 15 years or 20 years, you're going to live in a way that's going to be completely different, but it's going to serve you in such a positive way because you're going to have the power of knowing how to take care of your body, especially as we go through these aging seasons. So Deb, or Lisa, thank you so much for saying that. I always appreciate you guys coming back. Deborah, I hope you don't think that intermittent fasting is extreme. It really is a great way to live your life outside of food. And if we really start thinking about what extreme can mean, right? Or maybe that extreme was from the working out 2 days a week, two times a day. So I asked that question because today I'm working out two times today. It's not a normal thing for me, but my day's broken up on Monday where I do this with you guys early in the morning, right? And so I worked out this morning for 30 minutes, very low intensity. I don't even think my heart rate got out of like a zone 1, maybe very low zone 2. I was on my Peloton bike. I rode just to get a good sweat on and to get my body chemistry going so I would be energized and awake for you guys here this morning. So 30 minutes this morning. I'm also going to do some strength training this afternoon, about 30 minutes, and I'll warm up for 10 minutes before. So I'm only working out for 1 hour today, but I broke it up into 2 workouts. So when someone says, oh yeah, I'm working out twice a day, we let our thoughts and feelings and experiences dictate how we feel about that, right? So it could seem extreme, but then when I explained, oh, but I only did a really low intensity, like literally like it was like the effect of like walking my dog workout this morning, and then this afternoon when I have time, I'm going to do my strength training. In total, it was only an hour. It seems less extreme, right? But if we only settle on that first feeling or that first thought, that's going to lead to how we react and respond after the fact, right? But if we get really good at considering some options or asking more questions, then we can go, oh, that doesn't seem extreme. That seems smart. Like, I don't always have an hour in the morning. Or like for me, I don't like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to work out. And to me, I'd rather get more sleep. So breaking it up into 2 sessions just makes sense on certain days. So think about how you're limiting your belief and how that limiting belief can be limiting results that you're going to get or what it is you say you want for yourself. And how can we open that up a little bit to have that growth mindset and consider different options? Working out 2 times a day is not extreme if you're breaking it up so it fits your schedule. So hopefully that example helps a little bit too. Oh, she's fasting. Exactly, Deborah, right? And when we're experienced with that and we go to lunch with a girlfriend and she's like, yeah, I'm just going to have some water today. I just want to hang out with you and spend time with you. Yeah, like who does that, right? But if you have this kind of experience and you don't think in extremes, you could appreciate and respect what your friend is doing. And a lot of times what happens is we end up modeling that for ourselves. So awesome. Thanks for participating in that, Deborah. Lovejoy, I could not wrap my head around twice a day, every day, but a couple days of the week I could understand. Yeah. Oftentimes working out twice a day is just a timing issue, right? And so for me, I would rather break it up into 2 sessions than just go, I don't have time to fit in an hour's worth of working out today. I'm just going to skip it. Like that doesn't work. Breaking it up in 2 days and then saying I worked out twice today, we have to consider what that really means when you break it out on paper. So we can get ourselves in a stuck point for sure if we don't consider the options and get out of that stuck mindset and get more into that growth mindset. Deborah, I have done IF on and off for 3+ years. I just get off track periodically. Okay, so Deborah, let me touch on that because that happens to all of us, even myself, and I consider myself a fasting expert, right? I call that ebbing and flowing, or when life happens to us, right? The only problem with getting off track is how we react and respond to getting off track and how it is we talk to ourselves when we get back on track, right? So I always say it's just a decision. If you find that you've fallen off track or you've gone away from what you normally do, all you have to do is decide to get back on. We don't need to create mental drama about it. We don't need to create emotional drama about it. We just make a decision that what we were doing before was really what we enjoyed more, and you just get back to it. This is where journaling and keeping a log is really beneficial, and this is why we do this in our course. We have a complete intermittent fasting journal and guide that you get when you jump into class, and I ask you to journal your progress so that if life happens, you have a track record of exactly what you need to do and at what point the results started kicking in, and you just duplicate the same process. So yeah, that's totally normal. Deborah, the best thing you could do is just make a decision to get back in. Don't create drama about it. Just get back in and start reaping the results for sure. Renee, I started with 16, then 18, then went to 20. It was a very simple transition, and I feel noticeably better when I fast 20 hours or longer now. Yes, for sure. And that's where that experience comes in, right? We want to have the learned experience. So then anytime we want to get that feeling back, we know where we can take our body. The thing about intermittent fasting, I think it's because of the fasting word in there, and there's so much drama on the internet, is that people want to create frenzy around it. And this is really the way we're supposed to be living our life around food, in a fasted state and a fed state, not a fed state, from the moment we wake up to the wake up to the moment that we go to bed. And when we can wrap our heads around the fact that we were really designed to be in a fasted state, then we can lean into that with some power and a really positive mindset about it. And when you fast with a positive mindset, my belief is that the benefits and the results that you're going to get are just going to be tenfold, right? Because you're bringing your brain and your mind with what it is you're putting your body through. So Renee, I'm super proud of you, super happy for you. Keep going, girlfriend. It just gets better. Good morning. I'll be there. I can't wait. Yeah, girl, it's the best for sure. Marie, good morning, Di. I fast 20 hours every day and I feel great. It has become my lifestyle. Thank you. Yeah, Marie, for sure. Lifestyles are the best, right? Especially when we're living them in a way that really does empower us and give us the life that we're hoping for. Job, fasting is so important, especially for immunity. There have been studies that show by the third day of a fast, our immune cells are at maximum efficiency. Yeah, that's totally true. There's lots of research out there. Here, we're just talking about intermittent fasting, and you can get some of the same type of results with consistency over time, even doing it intermittently, especially if the feasting that you're choosing is really going to support your immune system and what it is that you want for yourself. Julius, can fasting help with rosacea, skin redness? Okay, so I can't say like fasting is the thing that's going to cure rosacea, but what I can say is there have been many women who have come into our community and many women who have gone through our course and have come in with things and have left without them. And rosacea has been one of those things. Oftentimes, what's coming out of our skin is a result of what we're putting into our body and the reactions that our body's having chemically and hormonally. Everything going in finds its way out, right? And so oftentimes with things like rosacea and eczema and things like that are skin conditions, we treat them topically and we're just pacifying what's going on. And what we really need to get down to the nitty gritty about is like what's going on inside of our body that's creating that thing to want to come out so aggressively, right? And rosacea could be that thing. So I would give it a go. It can't hurt. And there's going to be so many other benefits that your body is going to get from intermittent fasting above and beyond the rosacea that it definitely is not going to be anything that's going to hurt you. But like I said, I've had several women that have had rosacea specifically. Now they don't. So a lot of it is just creating an environment in your body that's just a healthier one for sure, and giving your body an opportunity to heal. Remember, in a fasted state, we're in a healing state, and that's magical as well. Jeff, I know this channel is for women, but I'm just a dude who has benefited from fasting. Everyone's welcome here. So I always love when our men come in and share their experiences as well. So Jeb, thank you so much. Deborah from working out. Yep. Okay. So let's see. Janine. Good morning, Diane. Finally able to join live. Great seeing you. Living everything you teach. I plan to repeat the course in November. Janine, I'm so happy to have you with us, girlfriend. She's also in our midlife mindset shift course. She's doing great things. Patsy. It's a lifestyle, not a life sentence. There will be times when you choose to stray from the normal protocol. It's really a freeing way to live. Yes, lifestyle, right? And the quality of lifestyle that we get from it is absolutely amazing. So Patsy's saying, thank you for sharing that beautiful thought with us here. And then Renee, I fasted my way through menopause, had not one symptom at all, postmenopausal now, and this community has helped in so many ways. Yeah, for sure. Menopause is not supposed to be a suffering season. It's a suffering season because we haven't connected what it is that's so out of balance with our body. PMS, if you have young girls who are suffering through their menstrual cycle, that is also not normal. That's a sign that something is not working, right? So menopause is a transition and things do start to change and it does feel different, but different doesn't have to mean bad. So happy, Renee, that you got through the season well. Kristen, I've been clean fasting 20 hours the last several days, 18 yesterday, keeping a journal of the foods I eat and how I'm feeling, and it's been really helpful. I've read how many just don't feel hungry during the fasting window. How long does it take to get to that point? You have to get to the point, Kristen, where you're fat adapted. I teach all that in class. You will be fat adapted within the first week. So your body's just transitioning through some of the storage that you have going on. And we have a saying here in our community, it is hungry is where the magic happens. When you understand hunger cues, when you understand your hunger hormones, hungry isn't necessarily a bad thing. So the sensation of hungry is magic. And if you move out of the way of your body will feed on itself and everything will work out beautifully. It's that feeling of insecurity in a hungry state that gets us a little bit antsy, and that changes when you become fat adapted. So it'll all balance itself out for sure. And then Jub, you are super welcome. We love having you here. Okay, so remember, the last intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course starts this Saturday. I take you through all the questions. How do I know what questions you're going to have? How do I know the struggling points you're going to have? Because I'm a woman who went through the same thing. I started intermittent fasting 6 years ago. I spent a year in misery trying to do all the things that everyone was advising me to do and telling me was okay to do, and I suffered greatly because of it. It wasn't until I really leaned into the signs and signals that my body was sending me and really got deep into those 20-hour fasts that I myself was able to reverse pre-diabetic conditions, cognitive decline, fatigue, depression, weight gain, fat accumulation. All those things changed for me for the better when I got out of my own head about what was extreme and what wasn't extreme, and I let myself just lean into the comfort of what fasting can do for so many of us. It has been a full 6 years now. I feel absolutely amazing. I'm thriving in my post-menopausal body. I sometimes work out twice a day, and I absolutely love what this lifestyle is doing for me and the women here in this community. And I will always make sure that I share as openly and honestly as possible all the benefits of intermittent fasting. Thank you to all my graduates who always come back and leave a comment about your experience. If you're on the fence about jumping in with us, just send me an email, send me a message. I will talk you through it. I will help you realize how magical this can be for you so that you can get in class with us in November. Remember, all November students get lifetime access to the intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman course. So you can go back through the course anytime life happens and you feel like you're straying away, and you can get right back into your course content. Okay, I will see you guys back here on Thursday. Okay, let me see really quick. We got a couple more questions. Still at my clean fasting, down 8 pounds, feeling fantastic. Girlfriend, I'm so excited for you. Workouts. Stick with it. It just gets better with time. Consistency over time is always the best approach. And then Sherry, 2018 grad, hi, can you please speak to metabolic flexibility? I fast 20 hours Monday through Friday, but not on the weekends. Sherry, you know what I'll do? Come back on Thursday and we'll talk about metabolic flexibility on Thursday and how intermittent fasting can help with that as well. Because we're at our time limit and I don't want to just brush it off as a light subject, because metabolic flexibility is super important to all of us, especially as we're aging. So I will address that for you, Sherry, on Thursdays live at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you so much for participating in the conversation. This is what this community is all about. I will see you on Thursday here on YouTube and Facebook. I will see you tomorrow on Instagram at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we do another live coaching. And then make sure you're following me on Instagram as well. I share a lot of my feasting ideas over there and a lot of other intermittent fasting information for you as well. I'll see you guys. Have a great start to your November.